it will take a lot for two people who are seriously arguing, right, to get to the point where they see the places of interest so that they can begin to align.
Previously on Common Sense for Relationship.
Disagreement is about the matter, is that there is a difference of opinion. Argument is that the differences have been established,
And the
but
way
the opinions are refusing to shift.
and yeah, tempers could possibly rise and so on. Yes, but you have to try, and in trying to work towards not getting to that point or to control the emotions around the issue, you actually learn self-control. So there's value in there. So right, I think one thing, you think something else. So we have a difference of opinion, making it seem like there's a fight, attacking the person instead of the issue, and so on. Yes. So you can now say that we are having a disagreement, we're having a dispute, we're having, you understand? Yes, some kind of contention. And sometimes just to going from something that was little, you keep going, bigger, 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 then BAM!
Hello, everyone. Can you hear us? Hello, can you hear us?
Ever reliable.
Debbie. Yeah, Debbie is there. Please, if you can hear us, type 111.
Hello.
Hello, can you hear us?
Hello, and welcome back to Common Sense for Relationships.
Right.
My name is Aniette Bature, and I'm on set with my husband,
Kingsley Bature. Let me do disclaimer for today. Okay, let me do disclaimer for today. We are not in our normal location. We are out of station. We are actually in Abuja right now, but everybody is tired. But just so that our relationship will not fail. That's why she's on the set with me. I literally peeled her off the bed to come for the show this evening, even though it's her show. But I mean, she's really tired. But she's interested in our relationship not failing and your own relationship not failing. So anyway, that's my wise crack. That's my wise crack for this evening. So anything you see like this, just manage it. Accept it as our gift of love, just so that we can be here every Saturday to you. Right, so you can have your show back.
I'm not having the show back. It's your show today.
Oh, it's my show today.
Yes.
Wow.
You're the one that's going to be talking. You're the one that's going to anchor. You're the one that's doing everything. Me, I'm just going to be looking at you.
Why are you like
admiring
this?
your wonderful face. So please, what's our topic again for today?
Well, our topic for today is in love or in doubt. That topic, sometimes the interesting thing about it is that
this is episode 4, right?
Yes, it's episode 4
of
why relationships fail.
Yeah.
Now, you say in love or in doubt. Actually, it's coming from the place where people need to understand what they mean when they say, I'm in love with you. Because everybody has a different definition of love. And their definition of love is based on their belief system. Because what I believe to be love, if it's different from what you believe to be love, you know that this relationship is not going in the same direction that both of us are planning it.
So this thing that you're saying now, you're just taking me down memory lane.
Oh wow. Go. Today.
If people want the full story, you can look at husband material, you can read it, but the story is that once upon a time, somebody was behaving as if he was in love with me.
Wait. I'm coming. Wait.
It's not you. Wait.
Okay.
And I now decided to ask the person. Hey, Oscar. Hi, Oscar. How now? Good evening. Thanks for joining the show.
Hi, Oscar. I don't know you, but she knows you, so it's okay.
University.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Mm-hmm.
yes, so I decided to find out from this guy, the signs.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided to find out how far. The guy, are you in love? The guy, have you been in love before? Because I wasn't direct. Have you been in love? Because I needed to know. Have you been in love before?
Yeah.
Right? And the young man asked me to explain what being in love is. And I gave my definition.
Yes.
And then when I finished giving my definition,
What was his
said,
answer?
if that's the case, then he's in love with like 5 people.
That one is creating doubt. Oh. That's creating doubt
see,
right there.
That's why we can't have assumptions. We can't have assumptions in this business of love.
Okay.
You can't sit down and be assuming that somebody loves you because of how they're acting.
Mm.
Because their way of expressing love, or their way of, in fact, their definition of love and what should be done when, in quotes, you are in love, can be completely different from yours.
Yeah, true.
So if you now say, based on what you believe love is and should be like, and how it should be expressed, you know how they'll say physical properties of, if we could do physical properties of love and chemical properties of love, characteristics of love,
yes.
if we could do that, right, then you will say, you will do your own, you give your own definition. What is the other person's definition? What would the other person write? Right? So you can't assume based on what somebody is doing.
Yeah.
In fact, you can't even assume based on what somebody is saying that they love you. Because you'll just be shocked that it was just a conversation.
So I'm coming. You are loving. The person is having a conversation.
Yes, the person is just learning how to.
I'm coming. No, Babia, no. I'm coming. You are pouring out your heart. The person is reading letters.
No, the person is getting comfortable with using the word love. So somebody comes and tells you, know what, I love you so much, or somebody comes and tells you, in fact, I see, we have a future. We have a future together. There's something for us in the future together. And you are just decoding like, family,
yes,
children.
Meanwhile,
the guy is thinking business opportunity, friends in common, and you, because he said future, you are thinking family. You just jumped. You're thinking it is future together as one. Even when they say together, he may be saying together in the same community.
Hey TJ, all the way from the UK. How you doing, bro? Brav. How you doing, bro?
So you can't assume. So just go straight to the point. Please, when somebody's saying something, somebody's asking something, somebody is insinuating something, or acting in a certain way, and you're getting the feel, or you're getting the idea that this is love, please don't conclude. Find a way to ask. If the person is not saying anything and is just carrying on with the acts and the statements without coming out very plainly and specifically say exactly what they want. In fact, in this day and age, even when somebody has told you, I love you, I would like to marry you. So you have to check well, because these days, people's word, back in the day, they'll say, my word is my bond. Like I stand by what I say and stuff like that. But now some people just say stuff in the heat of the moment.
But they don't really mean what they
say. Stuff to get you to respond a certain way to what they want you to do, and they know if they say this, then you will. People do it for different things. People do it even when they need help from you. They can lie, they can say all sorts just to get you to give them that help, right? And in the same way, in relationships, people can say anything just to get you to respond in a certain way to them. But does it mean that they meant what they said?
Doesn't mean that. Doesn't mean that. So
it doesn't mean, it could be that they mean it. So it could also be they don't.
So and there's something I want to extrapolate, something you mentioned when we were talking about one gist during this week. There's something you mentioned that came out very clear to me. You said something. You said they could say this thing and they actually mean what they are saying. But you are understanding something different. Do you understand? So it means that when somebody says I love you, the person actually means that they love you. But it means that they love their definition.
It is their definition of love.
It is their definition of love.
They mean it in their own way.
Yes, they mean it in their own way.
So you now have to check that their own way rhyme with your own way.
Bam!
If not, we have a conflict.
That is why the relationship will fail.
Yeah, so you have two people who claim to love each other, but they are not on the same page
on what their definition
of love is and what it entails. So one person thinks I love you means we cohabit.
Woo! Baby, break it down for people that
one person
go to
thinks
night
I love
school.
you means we live in the same house, we share costs, we make life easier for each other, you know, and stuff, right? And that's it.
That's what I love you.
And as long as it is convenient, as long as the going is good for you, and in that way you're able to give me all I want, then that's love and we're fine. Another person means that I am committed to you no matter what. The other person means I will stand by you through thick and thin, even if you fall sick and you need to be cared for an extended period, I will be there for you. The other person thinks if you like be broke, I'm here. Be rich,
baby. This
here.
thing you're saying, you need to loud it. Do you understand?
Yeah.
You need to raise the volume. Raise the volume. I'm telling you.
Yeah, the other person thinks all these things, and you and the person is in their mind thinking that what I'm thinking is what you're thinking.
Okay.
Until the rubber meets the road, and then they are in a situation where they are expecting a certain kind of response from you, and you're like, well, up to this point, it's been great, but you know what? It's not really working for me anymore. So I know there's a way sometimes when they're telling you this thing, they sound very polished about it, like, you know, that's when English it comes out really nicely.
When somebody wants to serve you breakfast, they give it to you in English, you know, English breakfast. So that's what you're talking about. They're giving you English breakfast. So everybody, you know,
and then you're shocked, and then you feel betrayed, and then because you didn't understand what they meant.
So this really speaks about that. It speaks about the if I would give it one word, maybe I would say it's conviction or beliefs, really beliefs and conviction. So if you're in a relationship with someone, you have to be clear on what their belief really is, or what their conviction really is, right? Is that
their convictions, and those convictions extend to what's the level of commitment, you know, in something like a love relationship, or you say you're going to get married. When we're married, what does marriage mean?
So it means that
it doesn't just mean a union between a man and a woman, and then eventually they may have children. You know, that's not where you should stop. What does it mean? What do you expect in the marriage? What do you expect from me as your spouse? Right? You have to talk about it. You have to talk about, and you have to, apart from talking, right? You have to watch where, and this is why people say check the family background. How is it in the person's family? How do they support each other in their family? You know, how is the mother toward the father, and vice versa, as they say. Even though some people say is what
vice versa.
One day we
will know the correct one. You know, but what you're saying is really key. You're just saying if somebody says I believe, you means you need to watch their word, but also watch their walk.
Yes, you have to.
So if they say I love you, you have to watch what they are saying.
You know, there's a way I can be saying something, but when it's time to do, it's something else.
It's something else I'm doing.
Yeah.
So
It's just like sometimes when people go for interviews to get jobs and stuff, they can speak English, they will talk.
I can work under pressure.
From here to there, they will tell you how
they say pressure. Pressure is my middle name. I can work without supervision.
How they can, in fact, move your company from where it is right now
to the permanent site.
Yes. Then they get the job.
And you start moving your company by yourself.
And the first day, they tell you they could not find taxi to come to the office.
There was traffic. The
second day, they show up late. And then by time, you just different things, and you find out that, hey, that was all talk. Like they say, talk is cheap. It's easy for people to paint a beautiful picture with words, and you jump on it and you run on the energy of that picture.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Only for when reality comes, you find out that that's not
Wow.
not what it really is. For
I really want to tell our guys, I can see a lot of conversation going on online, and I'm saying, can you guys relate? Can you guys relate with this? Can you relate with what we're talking about? Do you understand? And have you had these experiences where you thought someone really loved you, and maybe they even did, but it's just a case where your definition of love and their definition of love are very different. Yeah. Your definition of love and their definition of love are very different. So I want to take the time to pause in the show. Like we said today, we're really tired, but we're just running it. So we may not stay our usual length of time, but let's just see how it goes, right? So I wanted to pause at this point to say, please, if you have not shared it yet, please share. If you're on YouTube or you're on Facebook, just click the link, that arrow that did like this, pium, and share to your friends, share to your neighbors, share to your enemies. Let's just talk about this thing, right? Let's talk about this thing, because love is, in fact, even this day, it feels like love has been bastardized. But whatever it is that you are, this thing, even if it is cruise, your definition of cruise and somebody's definition of cruise can be different. I'm not saying that I rubber stamp your desire to cruise, but even that your cruise, your definition and somebody's definition can be different, because it's all a matter of conviction. What about people that want to say, let's do friends with benefits? I read one material today, this week, and someone was saying that what very clear question, and I'm giving you guys 30 seconds to post, so don't be hearing gist. You guys should go and share this link. Don't provoke me. And, before I verse on the show, go and share this link, guys.
Talk like your friend.
Yeah. Okay. So and I was reading the write-up, and the question was very simple question. If a lady or a guy, but in this case it was a lady, approaches you for an open relationship, what should you say to her? The lady sees like me now, as me am now, as a fine guy concerned, right? And then lady approaches me and says, I like you. I like you. I like my vision of you, but I don't want anything. I just want to be your side chick. No strings attached. What should I say, Abby?
What should you say?
But you know where that is coming from?
Where is it coming from?
It's coming from the place where, for her, it's possible to have friends with benefits, and it's not a problem. If I have the same belief, maybe we can work together. But if I have a different belief and I want to be her friend, you already know that friendship relationship is going to be in crisis. Why? Because I want to be her friend, and she also wants to be my friend. But her definition of friendship, or her conviction about friendship, is that it had benefits with no strings attached.
But then you're going to have a clash of values now.
Aha!
So because
that's the other.
If you, and for you to be able to work together, that's portion of scripture that says, "Can two walk together
except they be agree."
If you are not in agreement
Mm.
on a number of levels, right? You always have conflicts, challenges, different issues that you have to contend with. And
Maybe
it just
please
needs-
loud your voice.
it
Loud your
just-
voice. They're asking. They're asking for more volume.
Oh, more volume.
Yes.
Lord, I need some energy here.
Receive.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So- Okay. Let's do this. Yeah, wake up. Okay. So, as I was saying, what did I say again?
That can two work
yes,
together.
You have to agree on a lot of levels. You have to agree on a lot of levels. If not, you'll be having conflicts over and over and over again, right? And here you're talking about somebody coming to ask another person for a relationship. A certain kind of relationship, and this other one doesn't necessarily agree, even though they're interested in you. Maybe one wants to go all the way, be married to you, be committed to you as a person. Well, this other one is saying, I just want us to have some informal
friends with benefits.
Yes, as the need arises, ad hoc scattered relationship.
Baby,
yes.
When you say ad hoc scattered relation, are you talking about someone being Nicodemus and pliers? Because some people, what they need from you is just to knack. Do you understand? They just
Oh my goodness.
But what you want is a friend. But somebody's definition of a friend is just somebody they can knack.
Or what you want is a friend that eventually maybe you get married to.
Yes.
Stuff like that. But really, the values, because see, values are so how do you put it, separate. Values are so it's so personal.
They are personal, right? They are fundamental also.
It's so fundamental. They are so and as such you should care for and preserve your values, and you shouldn't allow some random, reckless, no future ambition relationships. Do you understand? Just come in and scatter your values or make you throw them away, and then the person just saunters, as you like to say, off, and you are left here. You don't even know what you stand for anymore. You don't know what you believe. You don't have a base. You're just lost. And that's why when some of those relationships break up, somebody says it's like he took how do you put it? The something right out of from beneath me or something. Like the earth just
he took
away.
the earth, right from under me.
And you are
Kingsley was saying, I thought she loved me until she went back to her ex. so it's possible to have a misconception of a similar ideology.
Yes, a misconception. One person believes it one way, the
other person believes it another way.
This is the issue with backgrounds. When we talk about backgrounds, it's as if some people don't understand the extent to which backgrounds influence. The extent to which backgrounds form you. Do you understand? The extent to which backgrounds contribute to how you respond to everything. Do you understand? So one person will say, submission is the most difficult thing on this planet, and you're wondering why. And then another person says, submission, piece of cake, is not an issue at all.
And you're wondering why.
By the time you check, you say, this one says, well, I was the firstborn. Just imagine this scenario. I was the firstborn, and we had stewards and stuff at home, and I called the shots. I said what I wanted. Everybody served me. You understand? And then that person happens to be a lady, and then is now supposed to get married to a guy, and this guy,
so a traditional,
is expecting submission.
Yes, you have to bend down.
Person that has been calling shots all her life.
You have to bend down and serve me.
Do you understand? And then you can already see.
I can see where the problem is coming. The problem is coming. It's on the way.
Well, maybe another person in their family was maybe last child with a number of older siblings, has been used to being told, what to do and obeying instructions, whether they liked it or not. Have submitted themselves to some form of authority, whether it's the parent or the older siblings or something, right? Have learned how to thrive in that kind of environment. And now they are moving from that environment to another one where it's only one person. They have to submit to.
It's not hard.
It's as if it's only one now
before there was 10. Nah, doesn't. So it's not. But you see, so but what I'm hearing with what you're saying is that everybody actually has a conviction, whether they know it or not.
Yes.
They have values, whether they know it or not.
Yeah.
So sometimes you can even ask the question, what's your conviction about love? And the person will say, no, I don't have.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So that's what takes me back to that beginning where we say, first things first, you have to watch the person's word and watch their work. Their work.
Yes.
Do you understand?
And in addition,
so everybody has it. Yeah.
Yes, and you have to now go beyond love itself, because some people think, oh, we're in love and we're thinking about marriage, so all we talk about is love. I love you. I love the way your eyes glow in the moonlight. I love what. I like your sideburns, the way your chin is set. Oh, your broad shoulders.
Are they talking about me?
You know, they'll just they'll just be talking. I love, and they'll just be dwelling around love.
Yeah.
The way you walk and love. Have you talked about? You are still talking about values, right? And what your beliefs and convictions are.
Yeah.
Have you talked about what will you do? Somebody's battery is low. Have you talked about what you would do if, for instance, somebody is broke and then gets a ridiculous offer of plenty money, but to do something dubious? What would the reaction be? Have you talked about stuff like that? You know, have you talked about if we can't have kids, or we find out that one person is challenged, how are we going to handle it? What are our convictions? Do we stick it out as not having our own biological children, or do we adopt, or do we what? Or could it be that the wife is thinking, we'll keep praying until a miracle happens, or we'll go and adopt, while the husband is thinking, I have one backup friend. I have one backup friend that does a lot of things for me. I can delegate this as well, and he won't tell anybody.
But those are where the values come in play.
So how do you handle those things? What would the response
and be? The interesting thing is that this thing you are still talking about, we are still talking about the same issue of love. Yes. Meanwhile, one person's love has just been about the expressions of it, while the other person's love is about the foundations of it. So one person is talking about what you can see. That person is talking about the things that you can't see, that is holding up the love that shows up.
Well,
do you understand?
You have to consider everything, because I mean, at the core, if the foundation is
destroyed, what can the righteous do?
Right? If your foundation is flawed, if your foundation is faulty, and that is not just the foundation of your relationship, it's the foundation of your lives as individuals.
Yeah.
If things are not rightly set, right, then how will you start to fuse these two lives to make one solid union, right? How are you going to walk through all the differences of ideologies, of opinions, of beliefs, of my way? What if my way is so different from your way?
Baby, stop there, please. We need to take a commercial break. What if my way is so different from your way? We need to take a commercial break, and we will be back shortly.
All right.
Yeah.
Are you searching for a life partner? Do you wish to have a relationship that actually works? Search no more. With the book Husband Material by Ep4, a relationship coach and author, Husband Material promises clarity and direction on all the questions you have in this thing called love. With rich content from decades of real experiences and learnings, Husband Material Workbook provides an awesome read that will help make your relationship work. This is made possible with a step-by-step, hand-in-hand, frame-by-frame work with the author to leave out the lessons in the main book. You can place your order today on Linktree/Ep4 The link tree is spelled linktr.ee/Anietia Bature. Amazon Kindle, Paystop, Okada Books, Barnes and Nobles, and Raven Heights.
All right, we're back.
We're back, and I'm Anietia Bature,
and I'm still Kingsley Bature. I haven't changed.
And this is still
Common Sense for Relationships. Yes.
So I was saying, what
Yes.
my way is so
different from your way. Exactly.
Because some companies like mine will say the end does not justify the means. For us, the means, right, is important. Your approach also has to be pure.
Not just that you got the result.
Not just that you got the result and everybody is celebrating. How you got it. You understand? There has to be integrity all the way. What if your way, the other person's way, is that anyhow, as long as in the end, though,
we get it.
We get what we're looking for. Do you understand? So they don't mind stepping on toes. They don't mind blackmailing others. They don't mind taking out the competition in whatever way that's taking out could be. Do you understand? and you don't want to know how it will be, but they can do anything to get what they want. I mean, these are things that people should really check. So check. How someone say, okay, how am I going to find out? Am I just going to ask the person, what do you believe? If you have an opponent, how do you handle them? If somebody challenges you in the office, what will you do? This is that. No, it's not just to talk. Talk is stupid. You talk, yes. There's a lot you'll find out
by talking.
By talking. But there's also a lot that you need to find out by observing and by screening. And like some people say, it's background check. Some people will say word on the street, right?
Word on the street.
Go and
I remember that show we had, Word on the Street.
Go and ask around, find out about this person.
One of our regulars is up, Jimoski. How now? It's good to see you. Good to see you, Jimoski. Yeah. And just to mention, baby, just don't let your point die. Grow cold. Just to mention, Jimoski says nowadays we don't appreciate love when we see it. That's the issue we're talking about. That your definition of love, Jimoski, may be different from the person's definition of love. So they may not appreciate what you are bringing if it does not tally with what they think they should be getting. Baby. They may not. I hope I remember. They may not appreciate what you are bringing if it does not tally with what they are expecting. So your definition of love has to tally with their own definition of love.
Yes.
In order for them to appreciate it.
Discuss and come to compromise.
On compromise of which definition you should be working with. And if you want to call onto the show, please, I've told the guys, can they post the link? Can they post the link for you?
I guess we can go through a few comments.
Yeah. Okay, so we can go through a few comments. Timora says, someone likes you so much, you like them back, but you want to stay friends with them because you don't want wahala that will scatter the friendship. What do? You like them, they like you back, but you want to stay friends.
That's difficult, okay? I mean, if okay, let's put it like this. It depends. If the person also wants to stay friends, then you guys are fine. You guys are okay to a great extent because both of you want to stay friends. But if it is that one person is hoping to see how far the relationship can go, well, one person wants to stay friends.
There's going to be a problem.
There's going to be a problem because this person who is hoping for growth in that relationship will do more, will feed that relationship more, right? Will give a lot more to that relationship in the hope that it will grow. And this other person will be gaining, right? But claiming
I'm just friends. They're just trying to stay friends. Right? But you are gaining from it. You are gaining from the association. You are gaining from the interaction. You are gaining from even the emotional satisfaction.
Yes. So and the support and stuff like that. So it comes to a point in some of those cases. It comes to a point where one person says, "I've given I'm the one giving. I'm
Giving,
the
I'm
one
done
always
giving.
giving.
Yes, one
You
receiving
know,
is not
and the
matching.
person feels spent, or the person feels
Used.
and so on, right? In some occasions, but you can't say stop altogether, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because in some cases, when somebody receives, one day the person wakes up and says, hey,
I'm not doing this anymore.
what am I? No, not even I'm not doing this anymore. The person wakes up, the person who is receiving wakes up and says, wait, oh, I've been busy chasing all these other options outside.
Yeah.
There's somebody right here that I have in quotes put in the friend zone, and the person is giving me all of these things that I am looking for.
Yeah.
You understand? And sometimes they could actually come to a point where they say, okay, all right, let's do this.
Okay.
Let's
move on to the permanent side.
Let's make this permanent, and so on. But it's a risk.
It's a risk.
It's a risk. Now, if both of you actually want to remain just friends, then you have to define boundaries, right? For yourselves. And I know you've seen something.
Jimoski says, Timora, carry your 2 shoes for head and flee. That's a trap. I knew Jimoski has to have something to say, right? Jimoski has to have something to say about the matter. You know,
so
yeah.
If both of you really want to remain friends,
Yeah.
just friends,
yeah,
then you have to define boundaries. You know, set limits so that you know, okay, where does this friendship stop and when does it cross over into something
else?
So that you try not to cross that line. Because once you start crossing the line, then you're blowing the whole thing, and you're introducing confusion, and well, maybe at some point we'll discover it's not going to work, or yeah, it's working, the boundaries are effective enough or something. Yeah.
Interesting. So I hope everyone is getting something. Tomorrow said this love, when only one person they cook all the time, be like Nadal too. That just gives credence to what you're saying.
Yeah, one of the things that's coming up. Well, at least I've seen like 2 posts on this in the past 2 days, where people are talking about how responsibilities and chores and duties and stuff like that ought to be shared in the relationship. So everybody should just do anything that needs to be done to make sure that the relationship, the family, or is fine. So for instance, right now somebody needs to be cooking because the other person is maybe doing an assignment for a project in school or for work or something. So the person does it rather than say, well, it is not my responsibility to cook. Finish your project and come and cook. I'll be waiting for you. Or somebody's child needs attention and the father is waiting for the mother to handle it, because in quote it's a woman's job.
It's a woman's job.
Meanwhile, the mother is at that moment in the kitchen cooking because it's also a woman's job
to do
the
it.
father is in quote has done his duties for the day. He has given money for food. He has in quotes, right? And now he's chilling, watching football while the woman is cooking, and when she finishes cooking, she'll come and clean up, or she'll quickly pause the cooking and they come and take care of the child, then go back to cooking. Do you understand? So that's what the discussion has been. So these are things. This is another one about conviction. Because you may be seriously convicted.
Convicted, exactly. That is the way.
There are certain things that are meant for the other person to handle strictly, right? Regardless of what the other factors are, other conditions are, other things that may be happening at a particular time. You may say, no, you may be that deeply convicted about it, while the other person is thinking, no, where I'm from, everybody puts their hands in and gets the job done.
And Barbie, even the middle ground to this, which is very critical to what you've said, the middle ground is that there's also the part where the person may be walking into the relationship believing that, yes, I agree. I know that this is what you agree. Maybe you are the traditional type man. I'm assuming I'm the woman in this case. Maybe you are the traditional type man. I know, and I agree with it. But come on, there can be some times where you can help.
Can you adjust?
Can you adjust? Can you help? Do you understand? Yeah. But that may be an assumption. You say, I know it's like this, but I know it will change. And that's something that you need to be clear on. if you are getting into relationships, if you are going to go for the long haul, you need to understand, you need to find out what are the boundaries that somebody will not cross and what are the boundaries you will not cross.
Yes.
What are the this thing, I always say this. I say marriage is an institute of compromise. Now, not that the values of the institution are compromised, but it is that the people in the institution must
Be continually
working
to find
the balance
the
that
middle
aligns
ground.
with that value.
Yes, aligns to find the balance
So,
that works for
Barry, I
both.
think one day
parties,
we should do a talk about this marriage,
Mhm.
about marriage as an institution of compromise.
Where we
You know-
discuss compromise and compromise.
Yes,
The different
compromises. You understand?
The one that is good and the one that
is
isn't.
not, it's not good.
So
Do you
that there's
understand?
clarity.
So
Because
that
once
there's
you mention
clarity.
compromise,
People
like,
just think, no, I cannot compromise my faith. But it's what it is. Well, even with
the good
compromise,
compromise,
and
right?
do you understand? And the thing is, like, the thing there for me, before we shut it down, the thing there for me is that we are constantly compromising in life, in the different things we do, but we are not calling it that. Which is the same thing that we do, that everybody has values, everybody has convictions, but they are not calling it that.
It's the terms.
It's the terms.
The terminology. So when it comes to the compromising, because honestly, once you say compromise, everybody just feels like I don't want to be labeled. As
I don't want to be
who
labeled.
isn't true.
Mhm.
As someone who doesn't have integrity. As someone who doesn't stick to their word and stuff like that. So they tend to run away from that term.
Yeah.
So I guess we will have to when that episode comes up, talk about
Yeah.
some of the other words, synonyms that
So
you can use
that
to
you can
express
use
the good one and the bad one. Yes.
Yeah.
So
But as we begin to round up the show and call it a night, because like we said,
to begin to round up
Yeah.
this
four
series
reasons
this series of
why relationships fail. The truth is, relationships fail. They fail based on your definition. In my own definition, I've said it from episode 1. If you define the relationship well, then if it doesn't turn out well, it didn't fail. It just told you something. If it turns out well, it also didn't fail. It's just told you something.
And then I would just say, if you now get to if it has told you something and you refuse to
listen to what it's telling you, what it was telling you, or what it's told you.
Example, if the relationship has told you that people have no business,
you have no business being together,
right? And you refuse to listen, and you go ahead and marry
him,
the person. Then in fact, maybe it's not even the relationship that failed; it's you
that failed. Then so
you have just put yourself inside
because
lifetime
it's
of wahala.
very cute. It's like people are failing relationships more than relationships are failing people. You understand? So the failures we see in marriage a lot of times are failures of humanity rather than the failure of the institution. But we are very quick to blame the institution. Anyway, Timora says, our generation, there are plenty doubts in friendships that have potential to grow into a relationship. People can't be natural anymore. It's just a competition right now among the parties involved.
Let me tell you something.
But we round it up very quickly. We have to shut down.
This just makes me how many seconds do I have?
Like 60 seconds.
Okay, so this reminds me of that movie we watched, Alchemy of Souls. Series, Alchemy of Souls. It was so
Hello, can you still hear us? Hello. How come you on this side? Hello, can you hear us?
If you can hear us, please type 11111. If you can hear us, please type 111111111.
Can you hear us? If you can hear us, please type 111. We just lost power for a bit. Okay. They say 111 in advance. Okay. Yes, they can hear us. Baby, they can hear us
Oh,
now.
nice.
All right. So you can finish your thought
Yeah, so I
before
was
we round
saying
up.
we
Yeah.
watched that whole. I mean, it's a love story, but you watch it through how many episodes? Like how many before these people even got to the point of a kiss? You know.
Mm-hmm.
But some people they'll just see somebody today. They just shook hands and right, and they'll go right from there to all sorts. What people need to allow space for relationships to
To
grow,
grow.
allow space for um for um bonds to be built naturally, right? For you to get to know more about the person, appreciate them, and and so on, rather than just jumping into emotions and being led by your emotions. In fact, yeah. So
Just before we round up, I hear that we have TJ backstage. TJ,
hey, TJ, TJ,
all the way
TJ.
from the UK. You wanna chat? Hello, TJ. Can you hear
Yes,
us?
yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
we can.
Good
Yeah,
evening.
I'm so glad to be here. I've been listening, and for me personally, I feel like one of the reasons relationship fail is the fact that sometimes there's no understanding there. So you guys sometimes understanding each other and learning about each other, it's a bit of a challenge. So when you don't understand each other and you don't understand when not to do some kind of things and when to do some things, really affects a lot of relationship. And literally difference in the way we all brought up. So sometimes like when
Yeah.
and for me
That,
too, I'm in a situation where I talk to people and I tell people that from every relationship you have, there's always the positives and the negatives. Hello.
yeah. Go
Yes,
ahead.
we're
Go
with
ahead.
you.
Yes, so from what I tell people is that most times we all grow from it. So just because you dated someone doesn't mean that it's gonna lead to marriage. But however, even though the relationship fails, you have to take the positives and you learn something from yourself from each relationship. I believe
Yeah.
that's what I'm a better person today thanks to the past relationships I've had. And there's always the positives and also the negatives. At least a relationship helps you to analyze, okay, fine. The same things you cannot deal with and the same things you can deal with. You get to see that some people might have to go through 10 relationships. Some people only from their first relationship they get it at right. Everybody's race is different from your race. So just because one person dated 10 people doesn't mean that you have to date 10 people to know the right person. You have
Yeah.
to know, understand, and yeah, patience too. And literally, yeah, that's just from my experience. I thought I would share because the major what I would really want to say is that there's always a negative and positive you learn from every relationship. And just because it failed, and yes, you tell a girl you love her today, and tomorrow that's not there. Love is a very big word, and it's very strong. And just because you told a girl you love her doesn't mean that you should now stay for the next 5 years mourning your that the fact that the relationship didn't work out. You move on, and you would love again. That's the truth. Because some people, I found a lot of people they still be in a relationship with a guy and they love them and so they cannot enter another relationship. I'm like, the guy has already moved on, so why are you still saying you love
Why
the
still?
guy? Like it's deep, but still, yeah. But I
Yeah.
feel like sometimes when a relationship just take positives, brush yourself up, cry, wail, eat the wall if you want to, and move on. That's the
Move
truth.
on and move on.
Yeah.
Thank you so much,
Thanks.
TJ. Thank you so much, TJ. We appreciate your
Yeah.
perspective. So Baby,
Yeah,
that's
it's true.
yeah.
I mean, that part of cry and move on is really important.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, because sometimes you really can't do anything about it. It's done, it's done. The person has gone, they've gone. The person has said if they're not doing it again.
They're not doing
You
again.
cannot kill them. That can you kill yourself?
Mm.
So,
Because if
however
you,
you
you
can
kill
vent,
yourself, the person will continue.
yeah, it's true.
So why
So
don't you just
it's
leave?
not
Let the
worth
person
it.
they continue.
Yeah, it's not worth it. So yes, if it helps you to cry, please cry. It helps you to talk to somebody, find somebody reasonable that you can talk to that will not turn your story to news headlines.
CNN.
Yes, you know,
CNN.
talk to somebody, and then and just in case you couldn't find anybody, I'll tell you, please. There's somebody who always keeps your matter to himself. His name is God. So you can tell him everything, the good, the bad, the
And the
ugly,
ugly, yeah.
exactly how it's paining you and all your
How
disappointments.
you are feeling it?
Yes, you can tell him all, and then that's it. Oh, you won't hear it outside. Hi, what a wonderful confidence.
So there's
So yes,
no matter how.
don't get stuck.
Yes,
Let's
that's
move on.
You're reading my mind, because I was just going to say, take it, man. This thing, no matter how a relationship turns out, don't get stuck in it, right? Because if there's the place to move on, move on. If it's a marriage relationship, there are always ways, there are always answers. The fact that you haven't found the answer doesn't mean the answer does not exist.
When you say the answer, you mean like the answer
A solution to your solution,
the problem
to the
that
yes
having,
that you're having,
so
that is
that
making
you
the
don't
relationship
stay-
look like it's not working.
so that you don't stay stuck
Stuck
in that unhappy
unhappy
place, in
yeah,
that tense place,
yeah,
in that loveless place,
yeah,
in that dissatisfied.
oh, panic.
Yes, there's always a
There's
solution.
always a solution.
If between the two of you can't find it, then step out,
Look
talk
for-
to a counselor, talk to your spiritual leader, so talk to someone who is qualified to talk to you, you know,
to
so
talk
they can
back.
guide you, so you can find how to resolve that issue and
And
move.
and
And as long as two people, sorry to jump in, it takes two. It
Yeah.
takes two. So as long as the two of you are willing to do it, you will walk your way back to that ideal place. And sometimes you may need to be patient for the other person to come along with you on that journey.
to get it, yeah.
Yes, because because someone might say, "Ha, this one, I'm the only person who wants to make it work. You know what? I'm not doing this anymore." No, there's a place where you are patient.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, there's always help. So it's not between the two of you, get it from somewhere else.
There's always help.
Help.
There's always a way. There's always a way. There's always a way. There's always a way. You know, like she said, if both of you are willing to walk it, you can talk to counselors, you can talk to mentors. A lot of times, because this institution is created by God, the institution, especially the marital institution, does not actually fail. It's the people, when people fail or when people cannot work together, they conclude that it's the institution that has failed. But we keep saying that there are marriages that are working. Many more marriages are working than people are talking about them, right? It's just that the ones that are not working are the ones that are louder on social media. Yes, so everybody now assumes that marriage are not working. In fact, a young man told me that, see you and your wife, you put the last set of marriage, that is working, but that's not true. Yeah, as funny as it sounds, and we laugh, but it's not true. It's like that place in the holy books where they said, the town was so bad, things were so bad, things were so bad, and they were saying, there's no more prophet of God that is left. And then God himself now said, there are like 7,000 more in this small community that you don't know anything about. So there are thousands of marriages that are working that you don't know anything about and that people are not talking about. Why? Because marriage is not created on the social media. It is constructed in the home media. It's not an external construction. It is built in silence. It is built in secret. It is constructed in the deep.
And now, from a very deep place, I have to tell you that it's past tense.
All right, let's come and be going. Let's come and be going.
Good
All right,
day,
guys.
everyone.
I
Thank you
hope
so
I,
much.
I hope that with these 4 points of ours, we have been able to convince you and not convince you that it's not every relationship that should fail.
What are you even saying right now?
Do I know? Do I know?
All right, everyone. Good night. Thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you.
us.
Yeah.
Remember, common
Common
sense.
sense is not
Not
so
so
common.
common.
And please share, like,
Yeah.
and have a good weekend.
Bye.
Bye. Bye bye now.